And here we are, dear friends, for this Friday's Ventilation Friday. Mrs. L joins me and Santa. This thing is as old as me.
My two favorite fellows.
And so much to discuss. Thank you for being with us, ladies and germs. It is a 33-degree freezing, and forget the temperature. What it feels like is a different story. In any event,
it's windy.
We have so much to discuss. Thank you so much for being with us. Don't forget to follow us at Lionel Nation, also Lynn's Warriors, because 87% of the people who listen to us and watch us aren't subscribed.
I don't understand that. Do you? I really don't, because it's free. You hit the button. It helps the algorithms.
I don't get it.
I really don't. That's what I'm ventilating about.
How the hell can you watch something all the time and not be
and just help us out? Could you help us out?
But also sometimes people are unsubscribed.
Yes, that happens
for reasons. That's a different story. So anyway, we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about Daniel Penny and the mistrial. Well, sort of the Prop 1 of the council. I'll explain that. Also, the assassin, the New York City assassin, on the loose. New York City police has over 200 photos of this guy. And gone.
He's at a Starbucks
on a bike.
He's on a city bike, which you have to use a debit or a credit card.
Took an Uber,
which I don't understand. He took an Uber. He's at the hostel. He's walking past a deli. He's in a bodega. I never heard of such a thing.
Taylor Lorenz, who is a lunatic. I hope you are following I hope you are subscribed, dear friends. Subscribe to the newsletter or the emails. Because I did so many reviews today.
Did a few doozies. I saw them. I read them. Some doozies indeed. But can I just say something about Santa?
Certainly.
I want this Santa Claus that apparently annoyed somebody last time I brought him out. But I love him so much because he was your childhood toy. You sent away bottle caps or coupons or did something. And you got him and you wrote your name on his little shoe. But here's what I want to say. When we were out today walking, and we have these kiosks here in the city where you can charge your phone. They tell you, they give you some headlines. They give you the weather, the time. And I said, look, there is a Coca-Cola ad. This is a Coca-Cola Santa Claus, everybody. And there's
this is where the Coke little bottle would fit in here.
What did you do with it? He lost his bottle. But anyway, we got to get him a little fake Coke bottle. But anyway, I said to you, look, on these kiosks, there's an ad for Coca-Cola. Okay, a holiday ad, the big, tractor trailer truck, Coca-Cola. And guess what? They brought him back. It's his exact face. He's on the truck.
Look how well constructed. Look at this. The beard's still on.
Well, they used to make things very well
constructed. Look at the shoes are very.
He's looking good. Well, I put this little necklace on him because
you did.
Because I wanted to dress him up. But I love him.
In any event, we have a lot to talk about. But first, dear friends, it's time for a word from our sponsor. Look, nobody likes getting older. And one of the biggest reasons why is because our muscles become weaker, making the activities that we used to enjoy more difficult to do and less enjoyable. But what if you didn't have to get weaker as you got older? What if you could actually become stronger? Celebrity fitness trainer Tony Horton says he's found a way to turn the impossible into a reality. His reality, which he is now using to help thousands of Americans remain healthy and active as they hit middle age and beyond. Almost everyone begins experiencing some degree of age-related muscle loss starting between ages 40 to 50. And it's perfectly natural and nothing to worry about. However, it can make it harder to exercise or even perform routine activities you take for granted, like playing with the kids or pets or carrying groceries even. Now, on average, people lose about 0.5 to 1% of muscle mass each year. Now, while that may sound minor, it can add up over years and decades. And health experts have long believed age-related muscle loss is simply an inevitable aspect of getting older. But Tony Horton says he's found a much more effective way to help you fight age-related muscle loss and even build new muscle. He says, quote, "This came as quite a shock to me because I'm the biggest workout guy on the planet," said the man who has trained Bruce Springsteen, Tom Petty, and Stevie Nicks, to name a few of his celebrity clients. Quote, "But the results are undeniable. Best case scenario, you actually have a chance to get into the best shape of your life. And it couldn't be easier to do," he says. Now listen, in fact, the results have been so remarkable, Horton is now the subject of a short report detailing exactly how his body strengthening method works. It's online and free for the public to view and share. Go to tonyprotein.com/Lionel. Go right now to watch this video yourself. That's tonyprotein.com/Lionel, or just click the link in the description box below. The video has since gone viral, first being shared by users on Facebook. Now, so far, the comments and feedback have been outstanding, with thousands of Americans claiming they feel stronger than they have in years. Horton does make a simple request of those who watch the report. He says, if watching this helps you build more muscle, get your body back and feel stronger, and even get more energy and confidence, he says, please share the video with your friends and loved ones. Together, he says, we can help as many people feel better in their bodies. As with any new method, your individual results can and will vary. But go to tonyprotein.com/Lionel right now, or click on the link in the description box below to find out now. Once again, that's tonyprotein.com/Lionel. All right, my friends, let's get started. First of all, with Evan Webb. Evan writes, they will find him. I saw that the man who wrote YMCA decided to let Trump keep the purchase right to use the song to do it going to #1 and is making him more money. Tell us a story. You were very good friends with one of the members.
Was friends with Randy the cowboy. Very good friends. But I think it stopped around the time President Trump took office, frankly, come to think of it. And he's really nowhere to be found. So Randy these days.
But this fellow
had a lot of problems, lawsuits for years with the gang, with the Village People, with rights, this, that, and the other thing. He spent years, he did a few years back get the rights back and went full steam. And listen, the song's #1 again, if you can even count that.
Good.
It's getting more play. It's being played. We hear from young people in clubs and things like that. People are doing the Trump dance to it now. So why wouldn't this guy, be part of all this?
He also is claiming it's not a gay song, which, okay, fine. But
well, he says, if you go back, look, and we were there. I mean, I was here in New York during that time. It was indeed at that time considered kind of a gay anthem, but everybody loved it, right? It was in the clubs.
Raining Men.
It was in the roller rinks and all that.
Yeah.
But now he's saying, whatever, it's a song for everybody. And I like that. It's because it is a catchy tune. Let's face it, everybody. And he has been letting Trump use it, and go for it.
But when you have the cowboy, the leather biker, the construction worker,
Indian,
the cop, and the Indian, was it Hodo, whatever his name was? We don't particularly care. You know whose morning? You know whose birthday was this morning? Laurie Partridge.
There's Laurie. Hi,
Laurie said, I had so much fun this morning. I came back for more. Laurie, of course, is our dear friend. Laurie likes to watch accident videos, dash cams of Russian plane accidents. I think.
But do you think
very unique.
Laurie was being sarcastic when she said that?
No, not at all. It's too specific.
Okay, then I won't say anything. But...
Too specific.
Okay.
Now, other than that, let's talk about what did you? I was busy speaking to the kids this morning. How did the First Lady do on Fox News? You watched that?
She did terrific. I couldn't even get it out. She did absolutely terrific. Despite anything you read or hear about her, she will actively participate in this second administration. And she is filling up her office. She's already been there. She knows how it works. She's got some very loyal people behind her.
Good.
And she's going to be building out her platforms. And you'll see her more working with children.
How did she get along? Who was it? Ainsley? Was Ainsley's
talking? Fine. Now, Ainsley's
fine.
Ainsley's fine. No, she's fine. But, this was something where Melania was on maybe about 45 minutes. Don't hold me to that. She was on a good portion of, she had her coffee table book come out fairly recently, the big edition. It's called Melania. And she introduced a smaller copy for people, kind of a paperback copy with less pictures in it. They were like, oh, it fits in a stocking. But she also wanted to show she's got a collectible ornaments collection.
Beautiful.
And she brought those. And then, and actually I know her who runs the first responders. And we were just looking prior to this at the picture. She brought in my friend, the kids. She runs the organization, the foundation for first responders children. And she brought in a lot of kids to Fox News this morning. And they had cocoa and they had little trees they decorated with Melania. It was very cute.
Beautiful.
It was very nice. And I'm very happy to see Melania. I look forward because I think there is, she's one of those people there's a fascination with for some reason.
Why do you think that is?
I just think because we've had so much crap thrown at us. She's a little bit of a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
She's married to Donald Trump. You know, she would ever, people like to look at her, women, her clothes. They just like to look at her. It's one of those, she's one of those people, I think, just people want to see. So I think this could be very positive. I have high hopes for this administration and for her work continuing with children. And I was thrilled to see her this morning on Fox. And they did ask her an interesting question. You know, they ask these very basic questions. I'm sure they may prep her beforehand. I'm not 100%. Don't hold me to it. Like, what will the questions be? She was very natural. She smiles a lot. Mm-hmm. Two things stood out for me. They asked her, you know, will you be doing the Trump dance? And I just loved her answer, which was a smile and no.
Right.
Okay. I like that. Number two, they had to bring up, you know, you haven't been on the magazine covers and you used to be with Anna Wintour and you traveled when you married Donald to France to pick out your wedding gown. And she said, well, that all ended when he ran for office.
That's right.
And won.
Good.
But I liked her answer because you know what she said? She said, I'm paraphrasing here, but she said, there are more important issues for us, for me, than being on magazine covers. There's more work to do. I don't care about the magazine
Beautiful.
covers. And that is the correct answer. And I'm in her corner all the way.
How about Barron coming out more and talking?
Yes, we're going to see more. We're going to see more of Barron also. And of course, they guard him as they rightfully they should. But also, he's a young man now, and he does talk everybody, and it's a good thing because I think young people will want to see him.
Precisely.
And I don't think we'll ever see him splashed across stages and giving speeches and this, that, and the other thing. But I think you'll appropriately see some things about him. So I think it's all good. Very positive. Very positive.
I know you were a big fan of Tim Walz, and
he ruined my neighborhood pizza place. I'm sorry. I really haven't stepped foot in it.
Well, so it's good because we get delivery.
That's right.
Right.
Because we get delivery. But that night I was horrified, being that we live around the corner from CBS and everything was blocked off, and our you know, pizza place is nearby. And I said to you,
he's like, no, I know
they showed it like on the news or something. And I said,
right.
No, is that looks just like, no. And you're like, no. And I'm like,
yes, it was.
Well, it's nearby.
But he also said it's very interesting. He said that he was shocked.
Well, no, he started because we've been saying like, where's Tim Walz?
Where's JD Vance?
Yeah, I'm more concerned about where's JD Vance, frankly. But Tim Walz put a few little interviews out, local interviews lately, and just said it was a little bit shocked about the outcome. I thought we were doing great at rallies. Again, I'm paraphrasing. I thought the public liked us. Oh, please. I don't care about him. I'd like to see a little more JD speaking out. I hope that continues, that we see a lot of him, because I thought that was supposed to be what was happening, that the vice president would have. And again, we're not there yet, right? Officially in the White House, but that JD would have a more active role. It would be a new kind of position for a vice president. And he's a very good speaker and nothing rattles him. And I think in a lot of respects, people won't like this. He's better than President Trump in some respects on issues.
Let's talk about the $1 million question. And that is the New York City assassin, the hitman. I have talked to a couple of friends of mine, police higher ups, and they are rather embarrassed.
To say the least.
They've got over 200 pictures of this guy. 200. They know where he's going. They know where he went. They know which shitty bike, we call it. We went to Ziegfeld, went to the alley, went to Central Park, went over here, was here for 10 days. They stopped, a train today? And
think it was yesterday. They stopped
New Jersey Transit
no,
or something.
no, it was Long Island. A Long Island Railroad.
They stopped it. He wasn't there. They said he's probably out of the state. Nobody called up. Nobody says, I know who that guy is. That's Jerry. I know him. He always, hey, that gun. We saw him with that. Nobody.
Well, I want to know about the city bike because I guess he had a stolen debit card or credit card because that's the only way you can get.
Or he had a prepay.
I don't know.
I guess he had a prepay. He did an Uber.
But I think here's the big question.
But you have to have a phone.
Well, he had
for
one.
An Uber. So was it a burner phone?
He had a burner phone. We don't know all the details, and I think they
a burner phone with a debit card.
But here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about Brian Thompson.
Okay.
First of all, according to his estranged wife, I'm not sure if that's the situation, divorced. I think it's estranged, separated. She didn't really know, according to what they're releasing, that he had death threats. Now they're saying. Mm-hmm. Did you see that?
Yep.
Now, also, and I kept saying to you when this first happened, why didn't he have security with him? Why didn't he have security with him? That was right after it happened. And indeed, he did have a security detail. So we don't know the details, how this person was waiting outside. You know, it's still dark, 6:45 in the morning here in New York now. On 54th Street, there are 4 different doors for the New York Hilton, 2 big main doors, one on 7th, one on 6th, and each side doors. He came out of the side door, a smaller, discreet door on 54th. It's almost like he was summoned there and somebody knew he was leaving. It's all weird. But here's the thing. Why was he without security? When you have death threats, when you're the CEO, the land we live in today, everything going on, why didn't he have his security with him?
Right.
That's what I want to know. And how did this assassin person, and you have to clarify what assassin is to...
Assassin versus assassin.
I guess it's all the same.
Assassinate versus execution
shooter.
Versus murder. There's different.
I don't know. So something that he was alone at that hour of the morning. I don't have the full story. I originally thought he was a guest at the Hilton, but he was staying at a different hotel.
At the Warwick.
Across the street. The Warwick. And came over for the health conference.
Remember, the Warwick was the Beatles were there, and there was a Cary Grant was there.
No, it's beautiful.
It's
Warwick.
really.
I mean, I haven't been in there in a while. But
wasn't it Mike? Somebody said it's the beautiful Warwick Hotel. It's one of the last.
It's still there, and I walk by a lot when I'm walking, and there's a great breakfast spot, like a restaurant in there that's always packed and full and old class, like old school kind of thing. So. I don't know. There's something we just don't know yet.
Let me tell you what I wouldn't be surprised about. And I'm telling you this for no particular reason, no fact, just what I'm feeling. And I'm going to be candid about that. I would not be surprised if we find out that the person who did this shooter, is a kind of a Antifa-like person. Not Antifa per se, but somebody who is a true believer, who is violent, who is willing to go the extra mile, who obviously planned this because the shells themselves had these names. He had depose and deny, and which mimicked a 2010 book about the healthcare industry, about how they deny claims. And he automatically, they were saying, to show you this Taylor Lorenz, who was again, a cat lady incel, ensorcelled by this. I don't know what people were talking about, how handsome he was, how he minimized.
Talking about how handsome
on
yes,
yes,
I heard that today.
They were also suggesting that he was, because he rode a bike, he wanted to limit his carbon footprint.
Oh, stop it!
Oh yeah, so he is true to the. So what we have,
somebody here in the chat just said he has good teeth. I think he's from Wealth.
No,
I saw it in the chat. I saw it
from
somewhere.
what little you look at the pictures. It's very grainy. You can't really see. They're not missing today. No. But what I'm saying is, there are people, by virtue of the fact that they almost knew he is a true believer and he did this and enjoying this status. I would not be surprised. Remember, during the George Floyd case, there were people, lawyers, people who were willing to give their careers away in order to toss a Molotov cocktail into a police car. I mean, it's nuts. So don't be surprised.
Don't be, Jack Fullerton here says something that crossed my mind, but I never said it out loud. One pic looks like a guy and the other a girl. I originally thought like maybe this was a trans type situation. I actually did. It crossed my mind.
Wouldn't that be something?
I thought, I didn't go too far in it. I just remember it crossed my mind that this could be a girl for some reason or something like this.
Now, here is a story. Another thing which is interesting. Oh, Johnny Maz's says,
yeah.
What happened to the lady standing outside? Yeah, was it the lady or a man or somebody was?
I read it was a lady. She was standing in the corner. You can kind of see her in the video. They said she disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
There have been no updates on her.
Right.
Was she part of it? Or she did run the other direction, but who knows?
And the New York City Police Commissioner, NYPD Commissioner, is now what was the Sanitation Commissioner, who stood up in front of everybody, and she looked like she didn't know what that was going on. I guess she could talk about spreading salt or something. I have no clue as to what's going on.
Yeah, I don't really have a handle on her.
She knew nothing.
She's a deer in the headlights out.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm not that impressed. What are we, 2 weeks in? Not that
she had no clue whatsoever. But in any event, but it's, can you believe this? The New York City Police, and they have access to everybody. This
most surveilled city place in the world is New York City.
And here is the FBI and the CIA and every intel hub, and they all work together. Every single one of them work together. It's the most incredible thing anybody's ever seen. And this is the part that just kills me. What I find so fascinating is that they look so bad. It's almost embarrassing. And people were saying, well, he was a lousy hitman because he dropped his phone. He got away with it. He had a phone, Starbucks on every camera you can imagine. I think didn't he have some kind of, what you want to call it, some type of fingerprint or something? Anyway.
Fingerprints on his energy bars with the wrappers, and he had a water bottle, mm-hmm. and he asked for a cup. And use the cup to pour the water in, and
they even have DNA.
Well, let me
say another thing too about this guy Thompson. All of the other CEOs from other health have scrubbed their websites of pictures. He was looking at a DOJ, some kind of an investigation. I think he dumped his stock.
Yeah, there was a stock issue. Selling stock.
That may have been contemporaneously irrelevant. I don't think that has anything to do with it per se. But all of a sudden, now it's funny, the people who care about these people didn't care about Obamacare, didn't care about these poor bastards who had the bronze plan, who had the worst coverage ever. Nobody would ever do that. But this Taylor Lorenz writing, she's on Bluesky, writing these terrible, these awful, these
well, I don't want to talk about her and her dirty sweatpants.
No, wait. This is important because it goes to show you the scrum. Can you imagine if we had written something about laughing about, God forbid, some Democratic leader, somebody from head of Greenpeace or something, we would be kicked off of every social media platform. We would be demonetized, deplatformed, called white racist, all this. They don't even get nothing, zero. Even she's on Fredo Cuomo and she loves this attention. The double standard. Elon's got to come in. We'll get to that in a moment. Elon
and his mini me walking around Congress with his mini me.
Tell him about Eric Adams. Listen to this.
Oh. Also, don't bash our city. I saw a comment go by. I don't want to draw too much attention.
People.
I am here with you to fight for our city. We are New Yorkers. Why should we leave? All the other ones should get out.
Listen to me.
Okay,
do me
that's
a
what
favor.
I have to say. Get out. There's no city like New York. I don't care what you say.
Whenever somebody.
Get out, all you other ones that don't, whatever.
No, they're not here.
No, I'm just saying somebody made a comment.
No, but they're not here.
They're not here, but they're making fun and
No.
saying things about our beautiful
But
city.
wait a minute, but say, you know what? You're right. Don't come here. Stay away. You're right about that. It's terrible. It is. And all these people walking around with the light. How many people? The tree lighting, the tourists. It is packed.
It is packed.
So you're right. Stay away.
Yeah, we don't
It's
need more
a terrible.
people here.
But no, they're right. We have it all wrong. 8 million plus people. They're crazy. Oh, what did you see? It was the best city? The best city in the world. What was it?
Number 6.
Paris was number 6. What was
New
the
York?
site?
I was Paris as number 1. That kind of surprised me.
Mexico's.
It was Paris and it was Tokyo. No, it was Paris, Madrid, Tokyo, something else, and then it was New York.
What was the source? Was it a magazine?
No, it was I don't know the name off the top of my head. It's a very legitimate source that rates cities for, cleanliness, hotels, tourists.
But they don't know
livability. But anyway, here, so let's talk about Eric Adams, our mayor. So now he is considering, what a joke, but he's considering, he has no choice actually. I'm going to become a Republican, perhaps. After all of what he's been doing and all of these investigations he's been under, aren't you surprised he's still kind of in office? I'm kind of surprised.
How about Tiffany Henyard has not been indicted yet? She's in Dalton. She lost the township. That's another issue. But
I saw her screaming at somebody yesterday or the day before.
Diddy, he's in solitary confinement. Everybody else,
Harvey Weinstein,
Harvey with his bloody underwear,
and he's somewhere. But so now Eric Adams is going to work with President Trump. John Fetterman now is going to work with President Trump.
He wants to be a Republican.
Yeah, I said
that. Oh,
you
said okay.
He apparently was a Republican, like in 1995 or something like that. He was a cop. We never got the full story on that, right? They locked up his records. Somehow he became mayor. I'm not sure. Although I did read an interesting study that for this presidential election, that only, you ready? 6% of New Yorkers eligible voted. That is so disgusting. It used to be 10%. Then it was 6%. I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if I believe that because I have seen now the MAGA hats. Yes, I say MAGA. I don't say MAGA.
Right.
I have for the first time recently seen them on the streets of New York. And so I'm not sure I believe only 6% of eligible New Yorkers voted because there is a lightness here. Again, today when we were out, more people buying Christmas trees, more people reporting back. They're already fully decorated. I'm like, really? Just such an exuberance and excitement. Don't you feel this energy on the streets? And also because we pass Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue fairly frequently during the week. It is constantly crowded. It is constantly people taking selfies in front of it. It is constantly, there's a gift shop in there and there's the Trump Grill in there. Constantly people going in and out of the doors. And I pass it at all different hours. So people are happy. We feel it.
The gift shop you can't get near.
Can't get near
it. There was something else we're going to say.
No, but I brought up also John Fetterman. He's sounding very reasonable, John Fetterman. So Elon now is promoting John Fetterman.
Elon's changing everything.
They're all coming together. Now, I asked you earlier today, I said, what, like Elon, I understand everybody. He's got lots of money. He's perceived as changing society, culture, the world, X, Twitter. President Trump does like cool boys and girls. We get it already. But what's his ultimate game? He just wants to be a part of this, you think? Does he eventually, I know he can't ever run for office. He's not, but I said to you.
Can't run for president.
But here's what I said to you. Why not? Things are changing all the time lately. Maybe that'll be in 5 or 10 years. We don't know.
Listen, they're going to amend the Constitution or they'll pull up Barry Obama and say that, whatever it was. Tell us that this is the story which the percentage of people who work in DC. This killed me. Listen to this.
I had to review this several times and make sure it was correct. 6% of federal workers go to their offices on a daily basis, which is why Elon and Vivek, they were there. No, what is it called? Doge?
Yeah.
I always call it like Dodge, but it's called
Doge.
It's Doge, like dog with an E, talking to Congress. I believe it was yesterday and they invited Republicans and Democrats to come sit in on their presentation and what they plan for the future. It was mostly Republicans, but they did report there were a few Democrats that are very interested, and the door is open for everybody to come work with them. They want to cut out all of this extra fat, as we call it, and these offices, close them up. Or the demand right now is you have to be in the office 5 days a week, or you can't have the job, because we know young people that have reported to us, it's my dream job, but I can't be in an office 5 days a week. I'm like, but it's your dream job.
Because my life is not my work.
My life is not my work. My work is not my life. I'm like, but you're 23 years old.
Our good friend,
go there.
Warren Ocasio says, I keep hearing from many media folks that Mr. Thompson kept a low profile over and over. Do they just keep parroting each other when they run out of things to say? Yes. They don't know anything about him.
Well, here's what they do, right? From being in newsrooms, they have a lot of monitors up. Seriously, I was like kind of shocked when I first learned this is what goes on, because I thought people are in there, they're digging through the news, the ticker tape thing, whatever that thing is called. Mm-hmm. The stories are coming through. Everybody's running around. They watch the monitors. At least this is what I've witnessed. Oh, okay. CBS is doing that story. Right. We're NBC. We're going to just do that story. And there's like no vetting. Like, is that story from CBS really truthful? Is it right? And it's just a lot of copycats doing that. And it also is such laziness. And that was a good 10 years ago that I witnessed that. We witnessed that. So I can't imagine what they do now. They probably read something on, I don't know, one of these sites online and just report it as fact, I guess.
There's also a couple of things which I want to talk about. The Daniel Penny case.
Oh, I'm very upset about that.
They dropped the manslaughter case, which is reckless homicide, leaving the lesser included with a 4-year maximum of negligent homicide. So they're going to pick it up money. This looks great for him either way. And this prosecutor is one of these Soros restorative justice types who just, I think they were so shocked by this. And Alvin Bragg, after the Trump loss, because it was a loss, even though, let me tell you something. Do me a favor. Remember this. Whenever somebody tells you that Trump is a convicted felon, remind him he is not a convicted felon.
Yeah.
He is not a convicted felon. He is not a convicted felon. He has never been convicted. Just because you're found guilty by a jury does not mean you're convicted. So just that. Also, today we saw folks that we went by the Time Warner. I keep calling it Time Warner. Now it's the
what
is it called? Time Warner?
It's the Deutsche Bank World Headquarters.
But
they call the whole complex.
Oh, it is?
Deutsche Bank. It's across the front of it. It's I will always call it.
Okay.
No, it's on the side. Oh, if you stand in the very front where those main doors are on the circle.
I did not know that.
Over, it says Deutsche World Headquarters is what it says.
Right.
Deutsche Bank is on the side, but that's what it says on the front of the building.
I did not know that.
You didn't know? I will always call it Time Warner Center. That's what, when they opened it, which is probably about 25 years ago now, maybe, replacing the old New York Coliseum. And what were you going to say about that?
I love when somebody all of a sudden, like Randy Roberts says, why did Mark Chapman wait while reading Catcher in the Rye for 3 hours before murdering John Lennon? I just love this. I love the fact that we're talking about all this and somewhere else, somewhere on another planet, another frequency. And I love that. I have this, whenever I send my newsletters out, this one writes back all the time about Building 7. No matter what I say, it comes back with Building 7. It's like there is a frequency that people are on, which I love it. I love it. We're not talking about that, but that's okay. So anyway, the thing I was going to mention to you, or you mentioned, these folks who say, I don't want to go. COVID, of course, killed. But even before that, we saw someone, this is before COVID, worked at a kind of an advertising place, who were told, you don't have desks. Take everything that you have. I know people at big firms, quote, executives, who don't have a desk. They have an area they sit in, and they take their little, they can have no pictures.
No, you have like a locker. Get the story straight.
Yeah, a locker where you put your stuff.
You have to sign in like the night before for a desk space if you're going to be there. And you can't have, pictures on your desk
Nothing.
or plants. It's very generic. So you have your little locker and you can bring your little pencil box or whatever you do. And you have signed up the night before and you take any floating desk that's available.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
And yet they're surprised. I guess they're trying to entice people to come back or ask people to come back. But it's this weird thing. And a lot of the young folks have been gone for so long.
And they're young, so they're very entitled.
Elon Musk works all the time. He makes a big deal out of how he went in and he got rid of 80% of Twitter or some ridiculous number. And it's doing better than ever. So for that, I thank him immensely. Where's Kamala? Where do you think she is?
I don't think about her. I don't know where she is.
I know we don't think about it.
I know, but I don't care.
I don't think about it.
I don't.
No, I'm just curious.
Talking about triggering me.
Wait a minute. I know we don't care about it. I don't care about it. We don't think about it.
I don't know. She's probably smoking pot, throwing back beers.
She's the vice president.
Watching.
Still in office.
Oh, please. What did I say to you this morning? Do you remember the comment I made to you?
Okay. I know. But she just had the biggest disaster. You think she would be somewhere at some point. She said nothing except that drunken, whatever that thing was.
That was horrible. Whoever allowed her to do that? Who allowed Tim Walz? They didn't even try. I don't know what that was.
Why don't the Democrats say, listen, you're going to talk to people. You're not going to just walk away from this.
That's the part I don't understand.
You're gonna say that you're gonna act like a good loser. We're gonna help President Trump. We're all going to be something.
Well, don't get carried away.
But what I'm saying is, no, seriously, they're so bad at this. Instead of James Carville sitting back there talking, why doesn't somebody say you're going to do this and you're going to talk and we're going to be? You just abandon it. We look like the biggest bunch of losers. I mean, I don't mind that they don't. I am
because
shocked.
I think they're that egotistical. I really do. I think they're that hypocritical. I think they don't care. I think their plan is 4 years from now. I think it's done. That's it.
I want to go a step further.
And I really don't think, but here's what I have to say about Kamala. And I always said this to you. She's lazy. She never wanted to do anything. So we're not going to see her, become a hostess or whatever they're called on that horrible View program or be part of anything because she's lazy. She doesn't want to work. She doesn't want to do anything. And
she never wanted to win.
And she never wanted to win. And she never really wanted to be vice president. We know this. It was all fake and phony. And what a shame, because we do want strong women. We do want to see good women represented in the United States. That was the woman. That was the woman. And you know what? She just got worse as she went along.
Right.
She couldn't. Usually people improve a little bit with training, something. This one got worse. I don't know what that last video we saw was where she's all disheveled and oh my goodness, why they allowed that. And you know what? She's done. She's over. I'm sure she got her payoff somehow. Goodbye, good riddance.
You said something one day about that the Democratic, the young people, they're not connected. They're not connected to jobs. They're not connected to showing up to work. They're individuals, and that actually, did you see her social media group and the people who were her? I forget. Plouffe made like 10 million, 20 million to do nothing. I don't know what he was paid for, but it's that idea that shows they're not connected. They don't know anything.
Well, you know my feeling on that. My feeling, this administration that's still there. They never, we think of Washington, we think of the White House.
That's what I'm saying.
We think of the offices, people coming together, even just think of the West Wing TV show. I think they were all working, talk about remotely. I think they were working remotely. I never saw lots of pictures. Kamala, as you call her, was having lunch every week with Joe. We saw one or two pictures, a photo op, right? You know what? I think he was in Delaware most of the time. She was somewhere else. We don't know. These offices, there was no oversight, nobody watching, no follow through. Everybody was doing their own thing, which just contributed to all the chaos. That is my opinion. They weren't working together at all. Nobody was doing anything.
And Joe,
few photo ops, and poor Joe. Did you see his hair blowing in the
worst?
I mean, my hair was blowing in the wind too yesterday, but was that yesterday? Why would they allow a picture out like that? And give him some hairspray.
Angola was a city. He's talking about the trains. I mean, he is still, and there's going to be blanket pardons of Millie, and they're coming.
Well, let me. Oh, you just.
No.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. this is a totally different topic, but I said to you, I think the new trend we're going to be seeing is that these gender lawsuits are going to start heating up. That's going to go by the wayside, right? And this doctor, this Joanna Olson Kennedy out of California, she's been served with a big lawsuit. She's the one that did not release that study saying about puberty blockers and mental health and all that. Remember that? It was fairly recently. Well, there is a 20-year-old woman, young woman now, who's going back to when she was 12. And this is why it's so important for parents to be involved. I'm not talking about the crazy ones forcing this on their children. They didn't know. This doctor, what a nerve. She told the parents that their daughter was suicidal. She put her immediately on these puberty blockers. She gave her a double mastectomy when she was 14. And this young woman, that's what she is, a young woman, 20-year-old. She wants to reverse everything. And her body is all messed up. They can't reverse some things. She's a mess now. And I say we're going to start seeing a slew of these lawsuits. And this is going to be reversed because nobody wants this. Nobody wants it. That being said, I'm sure there are a few trans kids, but let them be kids when they're 18, legal adult. They do what they want, whatever. But this is going to be something because who was this idiot we just saw? He had the mustache. It's a woman. It was a man. Oh, the Supreme Court. It's coming back to me. Was this
that
just
was
yesterday?
The trans man.
Lawyer.
Right.
Lawyer.
I played it for them. I can't even listen to them.
Nothing that 2-year-olds know that they're in the wrong body. Please stop it. Go away.
Lisa PM says, I heard by Den might pardon Tony Fauci. Can he pardon someone who hasn't been charged yet? Yes, of course.
Seems to be the way they're doing it, right?
Hunter Biden was pardoned for every and all activity for 11 years. Everything.
So even Richard Nixon, he hasn't been charged with yet.
Absolutely. Richard
Can
Nixon,
they still charge him even though there's a pardon?
Federally, no, not with the pardon. Richard Nixon was pardoned for, he wasn't charged with anything. Nothing. That's the whole notion of this.
Whatever happened to that woman doctor who used to wear those scarves? I forgot her name. She used to come out with Fauci, but it was like Fauci was always...
Is this Walensky? No.
No, she had like the bun in her hair.
Yes.
What was her name?
I don't know. She's probably glad to be gone from...
I don't hear anything about her. Oh, what was her name?
Did you see the woman from Fox News who... everybody, just because somebody dies young, they're always immediately...
Oh, the glioblastoma?
Yeah.
I'm hearing so much about these cancers, this glioblastoma.
Well, glioblastoma is the worst of the worst.
I mean, it is a death sentence.
Of the worst.
It really is. But
Crypto says, Lionel Nation, Lynn's Warriors. Indeed, Crypto. Thank you,
very much, Crypto. Speaking of, we had, a pickup. We have the toys and all that. And I just want to give you a big shout out.
Thank you
for being my assistant and helping me and putting up with bags and bags of toys and climbing over things.
Don't butter me up, please. Don't.
The living room looking like a storage factory. Just think of the children and the smiles on their faces and the moms and dads who maybe can't afford really toys, and they get a couple of toys and can wrap them up for their kids. The faces are worth everything, everybody. But thank you for helping me and supporting me.
Of course.
Because it empowers me to do bigger and better. So I felt very empowered today because a lot of good things are happening and percolating, and I'm looking forward to January already. A lot of great stuff's happening.
There's so much. Tell me about the Christmas spirit, about the trees being sold and how.
Well, I started with that before, that I just can't. Even when we were in a store earlier, I saw a woman carrying out a small tree. My friend across town was saying,
Dr. Burks.
That's it. Dr.
Thank you, Lolly.
Burks. I kind of blocked out that whole, I don't even like to say the C word, if you know what I mean. That period. So I forget a lot of the names on purpose. Although Fauci, I don't think any of us should ever forget. That's another story. But yeah, my friend across town was saying, even on her corner stand, because here in New York, they put them up against, fences and stuff, or in front of these markets, these little bodega things, and they're just disappearing like hotcakes, the trees, which is, we had a couple of years where people were left. These guys come down from Canada with these trees, and they live in the vans, like right there. And you and me are always like, where do they go to the bathroom?
Right.
How do they shower? All kinds of stuff like that.
They're always have that strange accent. They're from, not strange,
they're
from
like
Canada.
They're like somewhere in the woods in Canada.
Yeah.
But for the last few years, they've been left with a lot of trees.
Yep.
So these trees now, wow. So this is a really good thing to see.
Our good friend Crypto Domini says, Mrs. L, I love donating to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Crypto. Thank you for understanding. It's about education, raising awareness, empowering people, helping kids. So much.
Lollipop says, Lollipop, I love the smell of those roses. Absolutely.
Oh, the Christmas trees?
Yes. There's something about that smell. There's something about everything about it. I love that. I love it.
Well,
now,
we'll be getting our Ed.
Oh, yeah?
Next week.
Good.
Next week.
That's always a big deal.
That'll be like Ed 45 or something.
Yeah, because we were thinking about, we got to get an Ed.
No, well, we have a small tabletop Ed. But we really have to have
because you
Ed.
You work.
But here's the thing, everybody. Out on the street, they always look so much smaller to me.
Yeah.
And I get them home and they're like huge in the house. And that happens to me every single year. But I'm going to go for it. And it does take me really about a week to do all the decorating. So I'm going to be starting tomorrow.
Good.
And I had to get some of the toys out of the house to make room for things. And so lights will go up and things like that. But we'll get the tree when all the toys are gone over the next week.
What else you want to talk about? I'm beat. I've had a hell of a day today.
I do have I've been invited. I think this is interesting about the DEA. Should I say that?
Oh, yes.
So because I'm a warrior, I've been invited to the DEA lab here in New York. They want to show me, they want to put on a show for me and show me now. It's not about drugs anymore. It's about chemicals coming over,
and poisons,
the
and
border,
fentanyl,
you know, and the chemists, they have 40 chemists that work in this facility here in New York City. They want to show me how these drugs are made and things like that. I'm actually very fascinated with that kind of thing. So I feel very honored, actually. Frank Tarantino is in charge of the DEA here in New York City, and it's a terrific team. And here's why. When everybody hears DEA, drugs running the other way, they have a new program. They're working very hard. They're working directly with families, right? Like boots on the ground. It's a whole new kind of partnership. And that's what I like, because it's about educating people. And a lot of the parents they work with are now outspoken, speakers, because their children have been poisoned. This is a poison, an intentional poisoning. Okay. Their children have died. And they now want to speak out to other parents and family members and make sure it doesn't happen to your family members. So I love this new dynamics of the DEA, kind of boots on the ground. There are a lot of women in the DEA also, really coming together in the communities and going into the schools and going into community centers and doing this. And I'm all on board for everything. So I'm actually looking forward to my lab trip at the DEA.
Well, they do a wonderful job, and it's a different world.
Yes.
It's what they're doing right now. Anything else? I've had it. I have been doing more videos today.
You do talk a lot. You've been doing a lot of writing today.
More stuff.
Some legal things. You got your hand in. There's a lot going on here.
Make sure you sign up for the newsletter, which is important.
You did a lot of newsletters.
Says, what a beautiful couple. Indeed, we are.
My husband, it is. It's like one of those nights you want to get in under the covers. And
tell them about this.
I know what we watched last night. I just remembered. We watched, everybody. We watched Yacht Rock, a documentary
on HBO.
Let's ask everybody, do you know what Yacht Rock is?
No, I mean, rephrase this. Had you ever heard of Yacht Rock until now? I never heard about it in the 70s. That's like the lawyer in you.
You're rephrasing my questions.
80.
Like
well, good people say, yeah, I've heard of it now, but I never heard about it.
You're right.
Then.
You're right.
I never knew it was a name. Did you know this? Did you know this? By the way, some of the most ridiculous conversations
don't even answer
on sugar I have ever seen in my life. Absolutely insane. But please keep it up. I'm just saying. Insane.
But don't you think they just write that so you know?
No, I think they believe it.
I don't think they believe it at all.
I think they believe it. It's like I want to sit there and say,
no, look at these comments.
No. They talk about this and
okay, I want to talk. Lolly says, no, haven't heard of it before. XM radio, love the station. Right. Ha, ha, ha. I agree. Now, we know a lot about music. We know musicians. I never heard about it until a couple of years ago when somebody had it on in their car And right, you said something like, I like this.
I
What is
happened
it?
to be one time at this Italian restaurant
That's
in
it.
Marlboro, New Jersey. I
Th-
went to the
that's
men's
it.
room. I said, I like it. I was talking to the bartender. I
That's
said, I like this music. He said, yeah, it's on
Oh, it was the restaurant.
it's
not
on
the bar.
Spotify, and it's under Yacht Rock. I never heard of that.
I remember that.
Now that means 70s and 80s music, but specifically probably 70s. And the song, it was one of the, please see this, the seminal, the critical point of this is Steely Dan, who started off because the people from Toto, Porcaro Brothers, Steve Lukather, and David Page, and then from that came in Michael McDonald, who also came in, then the Doobies, and then Christopher Cross, and probably the song, the number one, the anthem of Yacht Rock is What a Fool Believes.
Who knew?
And then
Who
Kenny
knew?
Loggins and Hall and Oates, all of the stuff that I loved and still love, and the people who love that music. But I never heard the term yacht rock. The yacht was a term that was coined by these two guys. One of them looked like a trans woman, but he wasn't. Remember that one?
How do we know he wasn't? Because I was debating with you. I know it was like 2 in the morning.
I mean,
But
if he's he just looked. He had no. His name was anybody doesn't matter. So
actually, it was very interesting.
very interesting. So they did this joke. It MySpace or something where they pretended they came up with this thing called Yacht Rock. Nobody had anything to do with a yacht except Christopher Cross sailing and the captain and Tennille who wore that sailor hat. They just picked the name because it sounded like you were on a yacht and they just picked the name out of nowhere.
No, but now they have cruises. They're wearing yacht outfits.
But it is the parrot head version, but it is
But
the
I didn't
best.
know. I didn't know about this. This has been going on since.
And remember,
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yacht Rock is not Eagles. That was country. It wasn't Jimmy Buffett. That was different. It was a specific. It started. You look at
Jack is right. They mentioned Lonesome Loser. Remember they were talking. They were talking about that. How about that Michael McDonald? That voice.
Lonesome Loser with Little River Band.
No, but how about that voice
right.
of Michael McDonald? Those notes and things.
Yes,
unbelievable, right?
It's one of these.
Muskrat Love. Remember?
Oh, Captain and
okay,
Tennille.
but even I thought that was weird at the time. Muskrat.
Did you read about how he had dementia and she left him? What is she? What's her story? Never loved him, hated him. Anyway, who knew this?
Is he dead now?
Daryl Dragon.
Is one of them dead?
Let me see.
Because I'm at the point where I'm not sure.
All I do is look up who's dead.
Like, did that person die?
That's all
terrible.
I do. Captain and Tennille. This is.
I think one of them died.
Well,
I think he died.
Well, let me see. Just give me a second here. Just Daryl Dragon, and he died in
2019.
2019. He was 76 years old. I think he had dementia or something.
And where is she?
He suffered from megalocornea, a condition which results in the enlargement of the transparent front part of the eye and iris. It forced him to wear ever-present sunglasses. Oh, I see that.
And he had a tremor. It says there.
That's not good. He died from kidney failure. Tennille was by his side.
Well, then why do you think she hates him?
Remember they were talking about that. They were.
So she left him though, like when they were both like in their 70s.
Something happened.
And then we said something like, why would you just.
She's 84.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. Love Will Keep Us Together.
But don't you remember they were on every TV show? And we used to have the variety shows, and they were like on Mike Douglas, Merv Griffin.
Loved her.
And he never said anything. And
following the divorce, Tennille and Dragon remained friends until his death.
But let's get to the part where she left. 2015, so it was before he moved to Florida.
Tennille said the reason for the divorce was Dragon's inability to be affectionate. And remember, Tennille revealed that despite their success and public image of a solid marriage, she was lonely and isolated.
It took her to 75 to realize this?
Maybe.
That's what
he was not really a ball of fire when he was.
I think that was the act. Wasn't that the act?
Like he
just played the piano.
Remember the Summer Replacement?
No.
Didn't they do a Summer Replacement show? Remember Shields and Yarnell did one?
I remember they had Summer Replacement.
Manhattan Transfer had
that was a good show though. Manhattan Transfer. I love Manhattan Transfer.
With Tim Hauser, the great Tim Hauser. And anyway.
Thank you, Jonathan. Yes, we have an American flag always ever present.
I think
that,
so.
that,
Please,
that ends that.
By the way, please see it. And also, they talked about my favorite. I think the greatest album in my lifetime was Asia. Asia changed everything.
Yeah.
Asia changed everything. And they finally called up Donald Fagen, who was turned into this crusty curmudgeon.
Now, what happened to Don Fagen?
His lips, if you took his lips and David Page's lips from Toto and combined them together, you would have Jocelyn Wildenstein.
Stop it.
It would be demented.
I don't want to hear about people's lips on this cold Friday night, nor do our warriors listening or our
No, they would talk about cancer, what fuels cancer, which of course is glucose. In any event. So listen, thank you. Asia, A-J-A, Take, A-J-A, not A-S-I-A. It was a group called Asia. So Philip Petcho, thank you. CD, thank you. Lisa PM, Warren Ocasio, Johnny Maz, DB, Laurie Partridge again. Happy birthday to you, Laurie.
Oh, it's Laurie's birthday. Happy. No, I know, but I want to say happy birthday again to Laurie. She's been with us for years, right? Laurie's
Indeed.
Indeed.
All right, dear friends, don't forget, follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you remain subscribed here to Lionel Nation, as it were. We will see you. Give me some sugar, honey.
Sugar. And I also had you today. I wanted to ask you some questions about AI and things that I'm working on in Washington.
Yes.
And we did a little, I don't know what we call it, interview, discussion. I don't know, but we came together. I wanted your legal expertise. There's something called the Take It Down Act we've been working on, bipartisan. It got passed in the last 48 hours. It's all about deep fakes and AI. So I want everybody to go to Lynn's Warriors. That's your assignment. And watch us and listen to us because you had some brilliant observations.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right, dear friends. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day and stay warm. By the way, check out that Yacht Rock on HBO. It is incredible. All right. Don't forget, as we normally end, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you.